Jeanne.
Welcome. Spirit's just so busy these days. I don't think they were not busy. Sometimes I just feel them more than I do other times. And uh, boundaries are always good. Just because we can feel them doesn't mean that they, like any other person in our life, need to take over. So we have protocols. So we learn to live together and respect each other's time and space, and also make sure that we don't allow other energies to sneak in behind. And we've talked about that before here on Global Gathering. And that's why the shield process that we've been giving is so important. I also want to mention that Shakiba's also here, um, has been a student of mine and has also done amazing things. And the only reason why I'm bragging about them today is because I wanted them to meet all of you and be really comfortable with this beautiful podcast of people, because it's such a wonderful, strong healing group. And to realize we're not ever really alone, and there are people globally who share the same kind of energetic and space and love for humanity and for this planet Earth. And that's why we're all here today. Like what you read, Wendy, is we're here to love and to share that love and light. And that's really how things change. We change ourselves, and then that changes other people, and it's a domino effect. So anyway, without further ado, when we use the shield, we talk about this the personal shield, which is, if you can visualize now, a small four-sided pyramid that you're in. It's a small one, and you feel the presence of this energy. You're setting the intention that you're in this protected space, and that only love and light and peace and healing and goodness, etc., is allowed to enter into your field of energy. And we see two boundary lines, one at the base of this four-sided pyramid, and then about a foot and a half out, another line that goes around another boundary line, and it goes all the way up to the top of the pyramid. So the intention is set of clarity. And as we're breathing in the energy of this wonderful shield, we also take a moment to let go of any kind of discordant thought forms or psychic debris or psychic dust bunnies, or we also say things in the SRT world, which is things below chart 3, which means the really undesirable, darker, chaotic, lower vibration energy. And we want to see that just all going into the light and moving into a higher resonance, and leaving us to be able to also then raise the frequency and vibration today as we go in together, because we're forming this beautiful circle, and we're going to talk about the circle later. Just take a few more deep breaths, relax, know that we're all in this wonderful space together. And then we're going to move into the consciousness of a larger group shield. And as we go through it, we're going through the energy of the angelic node, and we walk into this bigger four-sided pyramid. It's much larger. We might see friends there, relatives. We might feel our guides there, other healers, personalities, but they're all joining us today for this experience. We find a comfortable place to sit. We might be sitting on a yoga mat, lying down in a reclining chair, but it's a very welcoming place. It's a sanctuary for us to feel safe and grounded and to be open and protected. And these energy bands that we speak of start to swirl around us. The first one goes clockwise. The second one goes counterclockwise. The next one is clockwise. And then the last one, which is not on the chart that we have given to you, goes counterclockwise. It's a blue-violet color. And they spin at such a rate, such a velocity, that nothing negative can enter in. And it is a wonderful, protected, sacred energy that we sit in. And we just breathe this energy in, and these energy bands go all the way to the top of the pyramid. So it's extended all the way to protect us. And we find ourselves then harmonizing like an orchestra would before it starts to play its first movement. And we find ourselves breathing in this wonderful, loving, conscious energy, which will transcend time and space and bring us through a wonderful experience this afternoon, which will carry us hopefully through our week and our daily tasks and those moments when we need that refreshing reminder that we are all one. Thank you. I will turn it now over to Regina.
Thank you. And I'll just remind everybody to mute themselves here. I was given a very light meditation process by a wonderful shaman. Her name is Angeles Arrien, and some may know her, others may not, but she has been around the world, used to many times work with Indigenous in a global setting. Anyway, she has come through several times for me. And the other day when Jeanne had mentioned our theme, she immediately came through to ask me if it were okay if I lead everybody through a ancestral meditation. Is that all right? Okay. She called this an ancestral agreement. Take a few deep breaths, inhaling the incredible nourishment of life surrounding you. Do you then exhale? What do you feel? Are you encouraged? Are you struggling? Do you feel joy or despair? The first few breaths of your morning can bring alignment to your body and mind, to your spirit and your soul. With your eyes closed, inhale and exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. What do you sense when your eyes are closed? Remember this. Now relax into the moment. Can you sense your heart beat? Can you taste the air around you? Is it dry or humid, full of moisture? What do you smell when you breathe in? And with your eyes closed, what are you seeing? And in this moment, what are you hearing? With your eyes still closed, let's travel together in time. Let's go back to a place before humanity crowded the place where you reside. Back before automobiles, before gunpowder, before foraging weapons in fire. Travel back to your indigenous camp and look around. What do you see? Remember this. Where are you? Are you in a forest of tall trees or surrounded by wild water? Is it thick with ferns, wet with the moistures of the jungles? Might you be on a desert where the ground beneath is of red clay or sand that's beige or even black? Is this a desert or a beach? Are you sharing your space with another hominid? Are there shells or rocks that surround your site? Are there any fires in your circle? Are you in a cave or out in the open? Now remember this. Your ancestral tribe is still strong within you. Inhale and exhale. What hemisphere are you in? What continent do you see yourself? This space is where your heart began its drumming, in cadence to the surrounding sounds of life. The rhythm may be quiet, slow as a meandering creek, or pounding, racing as a winded panther. There is a reflective pool in front of you. Please go to it and look at your mirrored image. What is your gender here in this land so far away from this moment? What is the color of your eyes, your hair, and your skin? What is the height of your stance? Look at your hands. What is the width of your palm, the length of your feet? And have you traveled far to be here? Sit here on the banks of these still waters. This is your entry point into your existence with humanity. I have returned you here to this spot to clear the oppression laid upon this land, your home, your birthplace. Humanity has injured this planet recently in its quest for knowledge, for growth, and for power. We are asked to return to this space to remember where we began our evolution and to heal the wounds of trauma brought upon this land, the air and the mountains, upon the jungles and the deserts and the oceans and their waterways. Your tribal agreement begins here with your lineage, with your ancestors, here to clear the land. This is where we begin the healing. Breathe in and breathe out. And try to remember. And now come on back. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina.
Thank you, Dan.
The way we had planned it, I was going to go next and recount a few of my experiences with the land in Arizona. And I'll do that unless you or Jeanne have anything else to add right now.
I just want everybody to kind of think about where they went, to remember that, and because I want them to participate after you talk and tell us about your experiences. Because some people actually have the ability, and maybe all of you, went to a place that is foreign to where you are today and experienced something new. And if you want to participate, we'd love to hear from you. So we'll go with Dan first.
Okay, this was back in 1987. I was on my very first trip around the southwest of the United States, mainly the state of Arizona. And with a friend of mine named Alpha. She and I traveled around for, I think, the better part of a month in that whole area, Arizona, New Mexico, area called the Four Corners area, and so on. And it was quite a revelation to me and to her as well, although she had already had a profound connection with the Native American culture. Anyway, one of the places that we visited, and I will share my screen here. Here we go. Okay, let me go here. Can everyone see this? Okay. This is a geological formation about an hour north of the city of Phoenix in Arizona. It's called the Montezuma Well. You can tell its size, but here's a road and a parking area, and this little white thing here is a car, if you can see my cursor. So the well is round about 30 to 50 meters across, at least. And here's a better shot of it from about halfway down into the well. It's a natural sinkhole that has springs in the bottom that will sometimes fill the water up almost to the top, but it's usually down far below. And there are walking paths that you can take around the periphery of the lake. There's a tourist sign here, which I will read. I think I can bring it up. This is on the trail that goes down into the bottom of the well. The 1/3 mile paved and signed trail ahead of you leads up a short hill and down to the rim of this naturally occurring spring in the desert. Empty cliff houses, caves, and ruins of stone pueblos are all that remain of a 14th century farming community that once flourished here. We invite you to enjoy Montezuma's well in a safe and leisurely manner. Please walk carefully and stay on the trail, and that's partly because there are snakes in the bushes. So on. And please help us preserve this unique spring and surrounding remnants of an earlier civilization. So you can go down these steps into the bottom of this well, the sinkhole. Here's another view of the steps that go down. And here are some of the features that have explanatory texts and photos and so on. Here's an ancient native dwelling and next to a spring. Here's another similar formation. And let's see, here's a close-up of some of the cliff dwellings that you see up in the side. This is the land. This is just maybe 20, 30 feet below the terrain, are these niches with ancient cliff dwellings. So as the story goes, my friend and I are traipsing around the periphery of the well, and all of a sudden we both get this very strange, odd feeling. I can't speak for her, but my experience was of a sort of an oppressive foreboding. It's the only way I can describe it. And it got more and more and more and more intense. And at one point we looked at each other and said, we got to get out of here. So we scrambled back up the stairs and drove away as fast as we could. Now, I'm not a particularly psychically sensitive individual, at least I don't think I am, but this was quite an amazing experience for me and quite undeniable. So to me, there was something about that place, that land, that at least for us had this feeling of almost a feeling of tragedy about it. But it was a palpable, visceral feeling from in terms of my experience. So that was 1987. About 3 years later, I was taking a trip around Arizona on my own and visited the community of Arcosanti. This is a sort of a New Age community that was created by the Italian architect Paolo Soleri. So you can see some of the more imaginative architecture here in this photo taken pretty much from ground level. Here's another view of the community. And as you can see, it sits on a mesa, and right here is a deep canyon. Goes right next to it there. Here's a further aerial view. Here's the community again, and you can see the canyon snaking through the terrain here. And here's a straight aerial view. Again, the community here and the canyon that zips down this way. So I visited the community, and then I visited or attempted to visit a friend of mine who had a house down in the canyon, right about here, I think. And you drive along this dirt road up here and approach the canyon from the far side and then come down here. So I come down in the canyon and I go to my friend's house, and no one's home. So I waited around. I walked around and look, there's this creek that runs through the canyon, which at this point was full of garbage, old water heaters and mattress springs and stuff like that. And I suddenly, in seeing how this trash was in the creek, I had this desire to jump in and clean it out, and with an intensity that I'd never experienced before. Needless to say, I didn't do that, but it was a strong urge. Then I wandered around for a bit and came upon it's a hole in the ground that was about 6 feet by 6 feet, a couple of meters either way and equally deep. It had been just cut almost like a cube out of the ground. And this hole in the ground also kind of emanated this strange feeling. I was getting to feel quite upset. So after a while, I decided to just leave. So I went and I put a note on my friend's door saying, sorry, I can't stay here. I've got to go. And as I'm doing this, she drives up. And I say, Ellen, I'm so sorry, but I can't be here. I can't explain it. She says, that's okay. She says, my son can't be here too. He cannot come down here. Says, for some reason, I'm fine, but he just can't be here. I said, well, thank you. She pointed at that square hole in the ground. She says, that's a native burial site that had been disturbed and excavated and not replaced properly. So that was one thing there that and it was quite an objective thing. Anyway, so I jumped into my van and I raced up the canyon, and as soon as I got to this point where the road breaks the surface, my pager went off. We didn't have cell phones at the time, but I had a pager. So I went to a phone and I answered the call, and it was a friend of mine back in the San Francisco Bay Area saying, Dan, are you okay? I said, well, why do you ask? And she said, well, I just felt you were in terrible danger. So, and this is a friend of mine who was quite a psychic, which I knew already. But I had not expected to hear from her under this circumstance. So she also had picked up this, at least from me, this feeling of foreboding, and maybe had picked up the objective situation. But that was for me, another incredible experience of having a direct message or energy from the land. And whether it had to do with my personal incarnational history or just residual energy that I was picking up, I can't say, but it was a very powerful experience in many ways, and one that I will certainly never forget. So that's my story of direct communication from the land in that area of what must have been a very there must have been traumatic experiences on the part of the indigenous folks in those areas, among others, of course. But those were two that I had, was attracted to and visited for some reason. And anyway, there you have my experience.
Well, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Totally see that in the cenote one, the Montezuma's well, how it was used, and not in a good way.
Mm.
Because it was the gateway to the underworld, is what I saw. I may have to go there sometime and check it out, but it's very interesting. Now, before Jeanne goes into her medicine wheel and explanation, I'd like to ask if anybody felt themselves retreat into their past, into their, did anybody, was anybody else feeling the experience of going back into another life? Nancy, you're shaking your head.
Got myself in trouble.
Yes, I love it. Love it.
Yes, I felt like I was back in a Native American lifetime.
Mhm.
Around me was like a forest, but there was like a community of teepees,
Mhm.
and I was a woman who either made jewelry or did some sort of craft work with turquoise stones. I mean, it's kind of fascinating to see, watching it like a movie.
Wonderful, wonderful. For anybody who had any experience, I'm being asked by Angeles. Her shortened name is Angie, or Watermelon Girl, but she is asking anybody who had any experience. So Nancy would be one of those people to take time, sometime during the week, if possible, or whenever, and sit quietly with that again and find out a little bit more. Because, of course, Native American, indigenous were all over. I mean, Americas, north, south, all over. There's Indians of all over. And for me, I found myself, which is where it always happens. I am in Australia. I am one of the Aboriginals. I'm a male. I'm tall. And I'm old, very old. And everything is singing to me. The ground sings, the trees sing, the stars sing. Everything is communicating to me. So I would love to explore that more. And for me, I'd love to explore that more, because it's just the right thing to do, to find out where we can go. Christina, please share. Where is she?
Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, caves and waterfalls. It's been real important for me for 50 years. And Peg English knows I'm doing a triptych painting of it. And so I went, but I've never gone to like the still water to look at my reflection. So it was really fun to look down and see this young, maybe 17-year-old boy looking back at me. So I will definitely be meditating on that this next month. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So, Shakib has had his hand up for a while.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shakiba, I wasn't looking.
That's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let me lower my hand. I'll put it up and put it down. But when you said to go back, I actually went back, and when you said to go to the water and look at yourself, I saw the first Homo sapien. But it was the end of the road for the Homo sapien. There was only two people there, and it was when I went to look at myself in a picture, I was male, but I could see the features of an old Homo sapien, and there was something that was being planted but it felt like that was the end of those two people in that area. And it seemed more old there, like in Africa area.
Mhm. Isn't that wonderful that we can take ourselves to another life and be safe right here where we sit, but go back and explore our other past, our other life, our beginning. And just by closing our eyes and looking back. And again, as Angie would say, this is where our healing begins. This is how you heal the land. And we are doing this. When you see yourself and you're going, oh, there's just two of us left here. What are you experiencing? So Shakib, that's a great opportunity for you to go back and find out what's going on.
For sure. I will definitely meditate on that. And then just want to add on to what Dan was saying. I did go a few years ago to Montezuma as well, and my experience wasn't very, very good in that area. I went in there and left fairly quickly.
Wow.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
And I'm officially in Phoenix now, Ginny, so I could always go back and check it out.
Well, if you go back, prepare to heal. Dave.
Hello. I wrote some notes down.
Wonderful.
I found myself in a forest of pine trees. I could smell them, of the pine needles. The ground is bouncy when you walk on it due to the pine needles that have fallen. There's a fast-moving creek nearby, plus a kind of like an area where the water's pooled from the creek, and I look in it. I see a reflection of a boy who's 14, brown eyes and long hair. Thanks.
Wonderful, Dave. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Christine?
I
Christine?
try to intuitively draw, or actually, I'll just show what came here. So
Oh,
that's who
you
was looking back at me. I mean, as you were when I first started focusing, and so I have a little self-doubt because I feel like I hope I came to my mind, but so I don't know, is that because I've read about them? But the Hopi came to my mind, and standing on a flat plateau, and there would have been, the things stuck below, but it was like a plateau. I've always felt when I watch trees blow in the wind, forever, I feel like I can see their personality, or I feel their expression when they're blowing as a spiritual thing, I don't just see leaves blowing. I see the whole, I see the soul, maybe that's what I'm feeling, but so in tune with nature that way. But that's it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Christine. Thank you. Go ahead, Dan.
Regina, I have just one little thing to mention. Mention that Angie Arrien is with you. And just one of the things that I know about her I've been intrigued with, because I actually heard her describe this in person, is that she grew up in the Basque culture. And their coming of age ritual involves the young person spending a year in the wilderness, surviving on their own. And she went through that experience, I believe, twice. That's what I recall. I could be wrong, but at least once. And so her presence here is honored and much appreciated.
Thank you very much. She's definitely here. I'm pitch red because her energy is so incredible. I feel like I'm burning up. My ears feel like they're on fire. And she's not saying anything, but I'm just feeling her energy is just immense. But it's very ancient is what I feel. I don't feel even the person anymore. I just feel the quality of her existence is pretty phenomenal right now with me. So we will take a deep breath, Regina.